Let me ask you something. What do you call it when a storm of arrogance meets a force of nature at 30,000 feet? Is it fate? Karma? Or just a new chapter in an old story? Because what happened on Aura Airlines Flight 720 was the kind of lesson you don't soon forget, especially if your entire world has been built on being untouchable. Yeah, this really happened. And no one in first class saw it coming, least of all the woman who thought she owned the sky. The flight from New York to London was supposed to be the kind of experience people spend years collecting points for. Soft lighting, a whisper of expensive cologne, leather seats with just the right amount of give. You know the Dell money's not just power, it's supposed to buy you peace. Serafina Washington, lost in a battered copy of 100 Years of Solitude, was enjoying exactly that. Cashmere sweats, no makeup, hair tied up, glasses big enough to hide behind. She looked, for all the world, like just another first-class passenger, except she could have bought the whole damn plane, and no one would have blinked. That was the point. See, Serafina was fresh off a silent coup in the world of high finance. Her firm, Washington Capital, had just snagged a controlling interest in the very airline she was sitting on. No press release, no victory lap, just the satisfaction of outplaying giants. For a minute, she got to be invisible. She was in seat one, living the dream of every overworked, underestimated woman who finally made it. Nobody knew her name, and nobody cared. Until, of course, somebody did. You could feel the temperature drop the second Eleanor Prescott stepped into the aisle. Late 50s, jaw set like she'd just bitten into a lemon, hair sprayed so hard it looked bulletproof, pearls as thick as her sense of self-importance. She didn't bother with a greeting. "You're in my seat," she announced, like she was the queen and this was her throne. No please, no room for doubt. Serafina smiled, polite as can be. "I think you should check your boarding pass. Mine says 1. And you know that look? The one where someone's so sure of their own place in the world, they can't even imagine being wrong? That's the look Eleanor wore as she leaned in, voice like poison honey. People like you don't belong here. This is a seat for our most valued customers. Did you win a contest? Use someone else's miles." Now, Serafina's had people underestimate her before, but she's learned something. Sometimes it's best to let them dig their own grave. The flight attendant, Ben, did his best to play peacemaker, but Eleanor turned on him just as quick. "I'm a diamond medallion. Check your list," she barked, as if frequent flyer miles were a moral achievement. Ben checked. Serafina was in 1A, Eleanor in 2B. But status doesn't just disappear because a screen says so, right? "I don't care what your system says," Eleanor insisted. "Move her. Find her a seat in coach. She'll fit right in." That's when Serafina stood up, not to fight, but just to meet Eleanor eye to eye. "My name is Serafina Washington. I paid for this seat just like you did. My boarding pass, your flight attendant, and this entire plane can see it's mine. You're making a scene. I'll ask you once. Go to 2B. Well, let's both spend the next 7 hours miserable. Silence. The kind that gets under your skin." Eleanor couldn't process it. You could see the gears grinding behind her eyes, but she doubled down, demanding the purser, the captain, anyone who'd listen. "You have no idea who I am. You're about to learn your place." Serafina just shrugged, opened her book, and said, "No, Eleanor. You're about to learn yours." When Captain Miller finally arrived, seasoned by years of turbulence both in and out of the cockpit, Eleanor put on her best show, her voice trembling, her outrage pure theater. "This passenger refuses to move. She's been aggressive and rude." The captain checked the manifest. "MS. Prescott, your seat was changed to accommodate a priority passenger. Your travel department was informed. A lesser person would have backed down. Not Eleanor. My husband's on the board of 3 Fortune 500s. I only fly 1A. This is an insult." The captain was done. "Ma'am, you're out of options. Take your seat, or we can't depart." Then, out of nowhere, Serafina raised her hand. "Captain, give me 90 seconds. She pulled a sleek satellite phone from her bag. "Who are you calling? Your mother?" Eleanor sneered, but Serafina ignored her and spoke into the phone, crisp and cold. "Marcus, initiate Tempest Protocol. Liquidate Aura's initial public position as a warning." Get Richard Sterling on the line. He'll know why. I'll be available in 5. The words meant nothing to most, but the tone was pure command. Before anyone could react, the purser's device buzzed. Captain Miller, code red from corporate operations. You're to ground the flight. Immediate deplaning. That's when everyone knew this wasn't about a seat anymore. The first-class cabin imploded into whispers and stares. Eleanor stood frozen, her confidence leaking out like air from a punctured tire. Within minutes, 3 men in suits appeared, led by Michael Vance, EVP of Aura Airlines. They walked straight to Serafina, heads bowed. Miss Washington, on behalf of the Sterling Group and Aura Airlines, we offer our profound apologies. A private jet is waiting to take you to London. Is there anything else we can do? Serafina didn't even look at Eleanor. Actually, there is. Your attendant band deserves recognition, and there's a matter of housekeeping to handle. Vance turned to Eleanor. His voice was stone. You're banned for life from Aura Airlines and all subsidiaries. You invoked Mr. Sterling's name. I've just spoken to him. He doesn't know you and hopes he never will. Security will escort you out. Eleanor's facade collapsed, but there was nowhere to run. The officers led her through the length of the Planio walk of shame, past every class, every stare, every judgment. As Serafina departed for her private jet, a man in 3C quietly sent the video to his journalist sister. Within hours, "Do you know who I am?" was trending worldwide, the video a masterclass in instant karma. And the consequences came swift. Eleanor's husband, a law firm partner, forced out. Her charity board, gone. Country club, revoked. Friends, vanished. In days, she went from untouchable to radioactive. She never understood what she'd really lost until she saw Serafino, a philanthropic powerhouse, breaking ground on a new youth center, built atop the ashes of the Prescott family company, annihilated in a single, silent financial campaign. Checkmate, not with anger, but with unstoppable resolve. Serafina took that one moment of humiliation and turned it into a legacy, $100 million, to fund opportunities for those who'd never be welcome in the old world Eleanor worshipped. It wasn't just about punishing entitlement. It was about redefining what power means. So let me ask you, as you're sitting there, would you have handled things like Serafina? Or would you have fought fire with fire? In the end, maybe the biggest lesson is that real power never announces itself. It doesn't need to. Let us know what you think was justice served. Would it go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like, share this story if you believe in karma, and don't forget to subscribe for more tales where the real world is stranger and sometimes fairer than fiction.